Okay, let me optimize that. There we go. Okay, so we have some great plants for the plant forum this month. Let's get on to the first one here. This is Aristoloqia Californica, and this is actually from my garden. It's a weird little vine from California. It's that is actually the flower. It's kind of a, I guess they call them pipe vines because they look like a Dutchman's pipe. I don't know, but it has this weird little kind of puffy flower that opens up. It's green with that red lip, and it's actually pollinated by fungus gnats. It also is semi-deciduous, so it sort of drops all its leaves in the winter. It's been so warm, it still has some leaves on it. And then it puts out these weird flowers, and then the new leaves regrow in the spring. Like a lot of vines, in my experience, this one definitely it sleeps the first year, it creeps the second year, and then the third year, when it really gets established, it leaps and turns into a very large vine. It's also a host for the really beautiful pipe vine swallowtail, which has a distribution across a lot of the country, but is fairly rare in California. It's a beautiful swallowtail butterfly that has, it's black with kind of iridescent blue on the hind wings. It's a really beautiful butterfly, very stunning. They've managed to establish some populations up in the northern part of the state. There are people trying to actively plant Aristoloqia up there to attract the butterflies. I know they did the same thing at the California Botanic Gardens in Santa Ana. They actually have an active colonization there because I remember going down there after I had heard about it. And when I used to see, there was this huge like bank of Aristoloqia, and it was gone. And I said, well, what happened to it? And they said, oh, the caterpillars ate it. So if you like butterflies and you like plants, sometimes you have to make a compromise one way or the other. Anyway, this plant is it's weird, it's wonderful, it's a little bit hard to find, but if you can grow it and establish it, it's really worth it. Next one, this is shown by Jove Paskowitz, and this is a really neat little agave, Agave Victoria Regina, from Mexico, and it's one of the smaller agaves. It doesn't get much bigger than about 18 inches wide, maybe 2 feet. Also, it's not one of the nastier ones. It does have a spine on the end of the leaf, but the margins don't have teeth. They're smooth. And the neat thing about this is that those beautiful white lines are very distinctive. That's when the leaves are forming. It's like an imprint of as the leaves as they form off of the center of the heart of the plant, and it keeps that sort of white striping through its lifetime. It's really a beautiful little agave. It also does not tend to pup a lot, and it's a very slow grower. So it's really great for a pot. In about 25 years, it will bloom, and then you'll have no more agave. So if you have this, take good care of it, and hopefully you will get a beautiful bloom at some point. Next one, oops. Oh yeah, this is a neat plant that you don't see very often. Jill Vig sent this in. This is Globularia in Dubia, globe daisy. It's a weird plant from the Canary Islands, very drought tolerant. It looks kind of delicate with those deep green leaves and those kind of fluffy flower heads, but those leaves are really thick and waxy. So it's actually really quite drought tolerant. I remember seeing this plant first at a garden I was taking care of, like up at the top of Altadena, and it was perfectly fine in 100-degree weather in the summer, and on the edge of this cliff. It is evergreen, and it has a really nice long bloom period. Those purple fuzzy flowers. Once the flowers are done blooming, they do kind of tend to hang onto the plant. So you might have to do a little bit of deadheading, but it's really neat, not something that you see too often. It looks like you can get it at San Marcos growers. Next, we have a plant called Sedum Hintonii. I don't know this sedum. There's a lot of succulents, and this is another plant put in by Sandy Masuo, who I don't know if you've heard her name around before, but she is definitely knows her succulents. She might have a little trouble with a little collecting problem, but only because there's so many wonderful plants. She's got a beautiful pot for that one too. Sedum Hintonii looks like, it's got those little fuzzy leaves and a white flower, just a nice little pot. It looks like on the bottom picture, it's actually a tiny little pot. So really a nice little sedum. The trick with growing a lot of these more, rarer and small sedums is don't drown them. They really, really, really need to be kept dry and in well-drained mediums. Otherwise, they pretty easily rot out. Let's see. Yeah, and Sandy, I think she gave a talk to us on succulents in 2016 in August. Unfortunately, we didn't have recording capability at that time, but if you get a chance to see her, she does give talks around the LA area, and she's always entertaining and fun. Next one, this is another new plant for me, Plectranthus I'm going to say surulescens, Ethiopian blue spur flower. This is a Plectranthus. It's from the succulent side of the mint family, related to coleus, but with thicker leaves, really almost more like a succulent when it's not blooming, but then you get those beautiful flowers as well. So just like any succulent, it needs good drainage. Don't let it, don't drown it. And those flowers are really pretty spectacular. It reminded me a little bit of Plectranthus neochilus, which is, you may have seen, it's got more of a purpley flower, and it has a really strong scent. I don't know if this one has a smell to it. I don't see anything in John's notes. This is sent in by John Schustra of Greenwood Garden out in Somas. He's actually also one of our board members. And it looks like you might be able to get one from him. When we had in-person meetings, John always brought in a lot of neat plants for sale. We've been missing that since we haven't been able to meet in person, but when we do, hopefully he will have some of these for sale at some of our meetings, or you can try to go on his website and get one for yourself. Next slide, sent in by Carol Bornstein, who is also one of our members, longtime native plant enthusiast, wrote a couple of books and worked for the Santa Barbara Botanic Garden and helped design the the gardens at the Natural History Museum in downtown Los Angeles. So Carol knows her manzanitas. And it's great that she sent in a picture of these plants to remind us that this is kind of one of their best seasons, because they are all winter flowers for the most part, which is very important as a winter nectar source for a lot of our native birds and insects, especially hummingbirds and bumblebees. So I've seen bumblebees on my manzanitas out in the front yard, and it's just a really great nectar source. And as you can see, there's a lot of variation in the flower colors. There is a huge amount of variation in the size and shape of these plants. It's actually a very large genus with very narrow endemics all over California. So probably the best thing to do is, if you're interested in getting one, is to start someplace like the Theodore Payne Foundation, which carries so many different varieties, and kind of match the plant to your location. Because again, there's ground covers, there's tree types, there are plants that are from coastal areas, and there are other species from desert areas. So you really need to kind of pick your manzanita carefully. They do all need well-drained soil, and they can be a little bit difficult to establish. They definitely need to be able to have a drought tolerant summer schedule, and but they are also evergreen with that beautiful bark. So certainly, yeah, she's this iconic California genus, which is definitely for sure. And our last plant is Ryby's Malvasium viridissima. I can't see it underneath there, but it is a wonderful plant from Southern California. It's in the currant family of Rybys. Rybys are either gooseberries, which have prickles, or currants, which do not. But they all have these beautiful flowers in the early spring. So they're like winter into spring bloomers. And Ryby's Malvasium, in my opinion, does a little bit better in Southern California. The leaves are thicker and they've got some fuzz on them, so they can withstand our hotter temperatures. A lot of people try to grow Ryby sanguineum, which also has beautiful pink flowers, but it seems like a little bit cooler climate. So yeah, look for Ryby's Malvasium. And I think that it does really well here, and it's really lovely right now. It does go completely deciduous in the winter, in the summer, like a lot of the other Rybys. And that actually concludes the plant forum. I just want to mention again, if you're interested in showing off your plants, you can always send us you can fill out a form and attach an image on our plant forum page on our webpage. Unfortunately, it's limited to people with Gmail accounts. And if that is not you, you can also send us the same information to our email account at socalhort@gmail.com. All that information is on our plant forum page. So thank you very much. And I'll hand it back to Erin and our speaker.
All right. Well, yes, if you do want to find out more information, go to our website. There has been a little bit of a redesign on our website, but if you go to socalhort.org/plant-forum, you'll be able to find all the information for posting your own photos and submitting them to the plant forum as well, because as you can tell, we get a lot of really great varieties when we all share too. All right, and I will give it to you.